Tucked away in the valley of Los Angeles, 42 miles northwest of Disneyland, sits a tiki bar with a 78-drink challenge called the Grog Log. Drink all 78 drinks within 1 year, and you get a plaque with your name on the wall. Let's join two thirsty friends for a little My Time as they embark on a drunken journey through the log and talk about dumb shit like theme parks, drinking, and drinking at theme parks.
Welcome to My Time, a podcast where we're drinking enough cheeky drinks to get our names on the wall and
pickle our livers.
Yeah, and talk about dumb shit like Disneyland and Horror Nights and
tiki bars.
We are 69% through with our Grog Log challenge. To this date, we've had 54 drinks.
That seems insane.
And,
I don't remember more than like 4 of them.
Yeah. This is Dave, and as always, I'm joined by my partner in Grog, my pig, Corey.
Hello, hello.
And today, joining us in this really small booth.
In pitch black darkness.
Yeah, on a Tuesday in the valley. We've got an all-time great. You know him from his podcast, How Did This Get Made? And Unspooled. And he's probably been in every single one of your favorite comedy shows.
Yep.
For example, my kids know him as Chip Whistler from Big City Greens.
My children are now watching that as well. Yes, yes.
We've got Paul Scheer.
I am so excited to join you on your grog journey. This is a very exciting thing for me because I do like a tiki drink.
Oh.
Yes.
There's a tiki place by my house.
Okay.
I live in the east side,
okay.
Los Feliz in Los Angeles, and there's a little place called Tiki Teas.
Yes.
Been there?
And one of the interesting things about it, at least the last time I went, which is probably before I had kids, which is about a decade ago, is you could still smoke there because it was a grandfathered in property. It was like I guess the smoking law didn't kick out some spots. Sure. So I mean, as I say it out loud, I'm like, well, then why can't you smoke at Musso and Frank's? But for whatever reason, smoking was allowed at Tiki Teas.
It sounds like you're fighting for the smoking. Now bring back the smoking in restaurants.
Well, yeah, there is something.
I think if I remember right from being there, don't you have to pay like a membership fee of like a couple dollars or something?
Yes, that might be it.
So then it's a club, not a bar, technically, if I remember correctly.
There is a reason. I mean, look, I would not want to be in any bar that's like full of cigarette smoke, but there's also something fun for the novelty factor of doing it like once, maybe every. I mean, I'm 10 years. I would because it's like that was such a smell, such a thing. But I remember being in there and being like, oh, I'm drinking great drinks. It felt like a bar. It just felt like a bar.
Sure. Yeah. There's something about like when you're in a dingy bar, you want it to have that authentic smoke smell.
Yeah, there's something about it where you feel like, oh, this red leather seat goes good with like a Marlboro. Like, not, and I've never smoked and I'm not, but it is like there is a vibe to it. And I feel like in that spot, I mean, it still feels like it. It's a real this is a beautiful spot. This is a very well decorated look.
So you've never been to Tonga Hut. That's where we are. We're in the North Hollywood Valley.
No, I've never been to Tonga Hut. I did go to a place in New Orleans, and I go there often. Whenever I go to New Orleans, there's a tiki bar. I feel like it's called
Latitude 29?
Yes, Latitude 29.
Okay, so this ties you into the whole
atmosphere,
lore of our show. So Latitude 29 is a bar that's owned by a guy named Beach Bum Berry.
Yes.
So Beach Bum Berry wrote this recipe book that I'm holding right now.
Yes.
It's called the Grog Log. It is basically a historical walk through tiki recipes.
Like the origination of tiki.
He was the only person that was sourcing these tiki recipes when they were all lost and nobody else was documenting them. So something fun that Tonga Hut now does is the Grog Log Challenge, where you have 1 year to drink all 78 drinks in this Grog Log book.
That's pretty good. So that's really, I mean, you could get that done. And if you do come here once a week, I mean.
That's basically what we were shooting for.
Hypothetically, if you come here once a week.
Yeah, but you're close to it.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to get 2 drinks in one sitting.
Yeah, and sometimes I'm fearful that it's going to happen in our January where we've got 3 months left.
Okay, good.
And we've got.
We're going to make it.
We've got 25 drinks.
We're
make
fine.
It.
Easy breezy.
Holidays. You're coming into Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas. That's when you have multiple
these
drinks.
are all things that are taking us away from a tiki bar on a Tuesday.
Our families, wives, things. Yes.
hypothetically, yes, I should be here during October, but Corey and I have now taken 2 weeks off to Horror Nights.
Oh, well, that's
just
a
like
worthy endeavor. Now,
Yep.
you know what? I'm going to tell you this. Don't mess around with Horror Nights. Get yourself to deep out there, Calabasas, where they've taken over the mall.
Okay.
And it's like 1,000 square feet. It's an old mall that they've taken over. It's amazing. Like,
Yeah.
this place is the best haunted house I've ever been in. It beats anything I've ever done.
Is it a lot scarier?
No.
No.
I think that the problem with Universal Horror Nights, in my opinion, is the crowds actually wreck the walkthroughs.
Because you're in a conga line through everything, basically.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so I think that there's better pacing. I think that like those Universal mazes are good, but not as effective because of the crowd.
Sure.
Yeah.
So I would say when I go through, I'm not scared, but I think they would be scarier if I was going through the right way. But this thing is the way to go.
All right. Well, we
I
got to add
also-
another one to the list.
Yeah, I know.
I also was recently in New York City, and I did the Jimmy Fallon.
Oh, wait, I'm so curious about this.
Oh my god!
I did the Jimmy Fallon experience. It was called like
Tonight
Show Mares.
Tonightmare.
Tonight. I thought Tonight Mares or Tonight Show Mares. I think it might be Tonight Show Mares.
Okay.
If it's Tonight Show Mares, I feel like somebody in that room could have said Tonight Mares right
Well,
there.
you know, there are some things. I'll show you this is it is Tonight Mares.
Okay, thank God.
There I am.
Okay.
I'm
nice.
showing you all a
nice.
picture of me getting my final scare.
Oh,
I
That's
went
amazing.
there on
I
opening
love
night. I was only
wow.
by myself. It was a Tuesday night, Tuesday night. I went at 10:45 p.m.
right.
Okay.
by myself, and it was a very interesting experience. I mean, when you walk on the subway, it looked like this is like almost looked like a parody ad for what.
Yeah.
It does. It
Yeah.
looks like a campy horror
Yeah.
joke kind of thing.
I will say this: where I was surprised about Tonight Mares,
Yes.
I didn't feel like it really had a take.
Okay.
Like
Okay.
it was not funny scary. Like you think, oh, it's Jimmy Fallon, and
Yeah.
it should be like a
Campy or
funny
something, yeah.
fun-
Right. There's
like,
a tight pants zombie is
Right,
coming
yes,
on. Yeah,
right.
like-
And there was like basically what happened there was he's like, oh no, here's a boy band and they're out for blood. It was like, so it was a little like, you know, it was very down the center. It's all based on Jimmy's dreams.
Okay.
Oh, God.
You know,
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't want to spoil it. I don't want to spoil it more, but I would say
Is it just one walkthrough or is it multiple houses?
One walkthrough.
Okay.
$45. I got the discounted ticket because I went the first night. Guess how long it was for the $45 10-room walkthrough?
4 minutes, 5 minutes.
8 minutes.
Oh,
8 minutes
okay.
door to door.
8 minutes a long
Yeah.
house.
Yeah. So you know.
Yeah. Wait a minute. One house, but 10 rooms.
Correct.
Yes, one house,
Yeah.
10 rooms.
Got it. Okay. Wow.
Now I will also say, have you heard about the Disney? The Alien Encounter Trepanney House is recreating the Alien Encounter ride from Walt Disney World
Did you
here
go-
in LA,
Wait.
and
we
that
have
just
to go.
opened this week.
Where
We have
is
to do
that?
that.
Oh
Holy
my
sh-
gosh!
I didn't hear about this.
Okay.
And I'm like deep into the Alien
Yeah.
Encounter stuff.
All right,
Because
so-
it scared the bejesus out of me when I was like 11 or 12.
So this is the Alien Encounter. They've recreated it. I don't know if they've gotten permission for Disney, but that's the.
We have to go.
Yeah, it's here in Los Angeles for a limited
Oh
time.
my God.
What is it called?
Trepanney?
Trepanney,
Trepanney
Okay.
house?
yeah.
All right,
So,
Oh my God. All right.
yeah.
We got to go to this.
so
Oh, man.
like, you know, look, I'm all about it, and again, I have a hard time getting people to go to these haunted houses. My friend Jason Wolner and I, who directed Borat 2 and he
Right.
directed Human Giant, we go to these, and
Well, I was going to bring this up later because now I love haunts.
oh, and by the way, can I say
Yeah,
Reign of
yeah.
Terror is the name of the place that I was talking
That's,
about. Reign of
okay.
Terror.
That is the one I was
Okay.
thinking of
That
before.
is 11 interconnected haunted mansion attractions, 32,000 square feet, 142 rooms.
Okay, that's a lot.
And that
Holy.
was the most fun
Okay.
experience I've had.
Wow. Well, let's drink a little bit. We got
Okay.
some drinks coming up. I saw a while ago, I think online on a gift guide or
Yeah.
something you suggested, the Smuggler's Cove
Yes.
recipe book, the
I-
tiki drink. I
yeah.
love that book.
I love that book too, and like I like making drinks, and I will do it. And it's a fun thing to do when you have people come over and have like a specialty cocktail or something
Sure.
like that. And so I think I got into tiki drinks via my barber, which is an odd thing because I'm a bald man. But my barber is a big tiki guy, so he kind of turned me on to Beach Bum Berry and tiki
Yeah.
teas, and I wanted to kind of do some things at home that would be a little bit more fun. So that
Sure.
was
Yeah.
it.
Funny enough, if you complete this task that we're on, you get to pick your tiki name. and you put it on the wall. Like if you make it through this thing.
I see it all. Yeah.
We are friends with a guy who called himself Tiki Barber.
Oh, I love it. This is great. These are great ones. I'm looking at these. These are really good.
I asked him specifically, like, do you cut hair? And he's like, no, I just thought it was funny, Tiki Barber.
I love it. Now, do they make their own, or how do
you have to make your own?
You have to make your own. Okay.
So, is there a favorite drink from that book that you make, or is there something like? Is there? What's your specialty?
Yeah, that's really interesting. I definitely like a more citrusy drink. I am the same way that you're going through this challenge. I'll be like, oh, let me try that. Let me try that. So I don't have like a go-to, like, oh, I always make this drink. And because a tiki drink is, you got like 15 ingredients in there,
They can be a little complicated.
Yeah. So I try to do it, but it's, I pick my moments.
We got drinks, and we might as well drink them. Polynesian Paralysis.
I like this. I like the idea of this.
It's let's see, what is it? It's a tall, skinny guy drink.
We would make dumb names for the glasses.
We don't know what any of it's called. A zombie glass, a tall glass.
It's pretty.
Looks like a bamboo glassware.
Yeah, bamboo but glass.
Darker lemonade color.
It's that yellow tiki color.
Yellow tiki color.
Do you have a cheers that you normally say?
I don't know.
All right, then we'll just go with ours. It's
our staple.
The drink's awake, so I'm awake.
Oh, I love it. I mean, this is in my wheelhouse of something that I would like to.
Okay.
All right.
It's a little on the sweeter end for me, but I don't dislike it.
It tastes like it should be purple. Does that make sense?
Why?
See, I'm getting more of a yellowy citrus idea.
Like, I'm getting yellowy. Yeah.
Oh, why am I tasting grape? Okay, I'm gonna.
Well, let's sip it twice, and then we'll see what's in it. Don't taste grape.
No, it tastes like a pineapple.
Pineapple or for sure pineapple.
What the hell am I tasting that's like on the back?
Did you have some gum before it? Or?
I'm chewing bubblish.
That's what it was.
But you know what? I wonder if it's a nut. I feel like there's a nut.
Oh, she did ask us if we have nut allergies.
Yeah,
maybe it's something that is.
I feel like there's a nut hit in the back.
I was gonna say that there's like maybe some brandy or something like that, like some like
Brandy Alexander. Used to know her.
Yeah, there's typically like
bad jokes.
5, and we're on episode 31. I was like, here it comes. There's typically like pineapple, orange, lime, passion fruit, and then rum, like some sort of combination of that. And then now when I taste something that deviates slightly, I'm like, what the hell is this?
I think it's interesting because if tiki drinks aren't supposed to be as sweet as they are, as a lot of people recognize them to be, and this I think fulfills that thing. Like I agree with you, it's probably on the sweeter side of what I would like. Like I don't know if I would be like, this is my go-to, but it's not as sweet as I feel like this would taste if someone else made it. Like this feels like this could be all just syrupy.
Yeah, totally.
Like,
at least they use like real juices here and like All right, what's in it?
Yeah.
Well, there's no grape.
Well, yeah,
not shocked.
You're the only one.
You're the only one that's feeling that.
Okay,
I think there's a macadamia or something.
Some sort of or orgeat maybe or something.
Orange juice, pineapple juice, sweet and sour.
Okay.
Orgeat syrup. It's Martinique rum, maybe.
Okay, got it.
Okay.
There's no nuts in it. Why did she ask us?
Isn't orgeat based off of almond?
Yeah, maybe it's just the syrup that she's just making sure.
Yeah,
almond syrup. Yeah, maybe she's. But like,
that's what I think you're getting the grape from. I do believe that.
It's the combo of the sweet
because an
and
amaretto
sour
has like a little, or like a.
So this is a recipe from 1960, and it comes from Waikiki.
I would say this is like a 3 for me. I don't know if I'd order it again for myself, but I don't think it's bad.
3 is normally like the would I ever drink this again? If somebody said, hey, I'm doing the Grog Log, you want to drink this one with me? I'd drink this again.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's a 3.
I'm at a 3 in the sense that we've all pretty much drank a quarter of the drink, and I'm not thrilled about finishing it.
No.
Even though I like what I've had.
Because it's just a little too. It's a little on the sweet
It's
end.
sweet.
Yeah.
It's sweet. So normally, if you haven't listened to this podcast or just joining us, we normally get drunk and then talk about Disney.
Sure.
And
I
theme
love it.
parks.
I love it. Yeah.
Which is like
We already have checked a couple of those boxes.
I feel like it's directly in your wheelhouse, judging by the fact that you were in the LA Times article as a Disney adult.
Yeah, that was a fun article.
You know, it's so interesting. That was a really. I talked to the guy who wrote that for a while, and I really appreciated his take. This term Disney adult is such an interesting thing. I don't love that term.
I don't either, to be honest.
I think that what's kind of odd is like no one calls like a Kansas City Chief fan, like a Kansas City Chief fan adult, right? It's like
Right.
like you went probably as a kid, you were a fan of whatever team you were a fan of, and you
Right.
get older and you're still a fan of that
It's
team.
still nostalgic to you for that reason.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why you're there. And I think that like that's really what Disney is. It's not like you found it as a kid. It is something that is fun and it's like and you're getting different things from it. But it's like I think one of the cool things about it is that you don't have to grow out of it.
Right.
Right. And they're not saying
Right.
like I'm enjoying it in the same level, but it's like a weird like in a world in which there's so many instances of like things that we grow up with or that are part of our lives that we're like, well, that you're supposed to jettison that one.
Yeah.
It is almost like they're shaming you for liking
Yeah.
what should be something for kids, but like
It's enjoyable for everyone.
Yeah,
What's the big deal? Yeah.
I read your book, Joyful
thanks.
Recollections of Trauma.
Yes.
Is awesome.
Oh,
Like,
thank you so much.
I
I have a story of Disney World there. I mean,
I was gonna
yeah.
bring up that Disney World plays a part in your life.
Yeah, I mean, it plays a part in my life because I grew up in New York, and I would say since I was maybe like 4 or 5 years old until I was about 21 or 22, we would go to Disney World every single year.
That was how I
Right.
grew up too. I'm
Yeah.
from Cleveland, and that's what we would do every year.
Did you
Yeah.
drive there? Did you make the
No,
drive?
just
Yeah.
flew, and you know, it's funny because I'm thinking back on these things that people may have a harder time wrapping their head around. But when you're in New York, it was like, oh, flights to Orlando, like $85.
Yeah.
It was like it wasn't like a impossible thing to get to Orlando. It wasn't
Sure.
even that expensive. And my dad and I were just kind of my parents were divorced, so I've gone a handful of times with my dad. I went a handful of times with my mom. We just go, and you could almost go for like 3 or 4 days. And it was at a point where it was like, if you stayed on property, you get a park. They would give you a ticket.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
you
It was
didn't
a
even.
very different time in that
Yeah.
sense. Yeah.
And it wouldn't bankrupt you. Like I went to Orlando. Look, I'm gonna have a hot. Should I come in with my hot take on the top of
Please,
this?
Do it.
please.
We love a hot
yeah,
take.
All right.
Yeah.
So I went to Disney World 2 years ago.
Okay.
And I hadn't been in a while. Although I was looking forward to going. I was gonna go next week, but the storm and hopefully everyone's okay. But
Yeah.
but I hadn't gone in a while, and I went, and I was like, man, I feel like there's a piece of the magic missing in Orlando. It seems so expensive. It is expensive. Well, it
It's
doesn't
gotten
seem.
prohibitive.
It's
Yeah.
and all those like little fun perks seem to be
They all went away.
gone,
Yeah.
and it's like, and I'm not talking about cutting lines, like, but all the things that make it a little special or unique. And I get it, like the Disney Village or whatever. It's a big outdoor mall now. Like there's just less and less there, and I feel like when you stayed on property, it was like it was a big deal, but you also got some perks.
Some like
Yeah.
serious perks
Yeah.
from that. Yeah.
And now it's like you're fighting, and I'm a Disney Vacation Club member, all that sort of stuff. And I just
Wasn't your mom like one of the original TVC?
yeah. So my mom was the first year they had Disney Vacation
That's
Club. My mom
amazing.
bought it, and as a matter of fact, my stepfather passed away probably about 8 years ago, and I was saying, well, we should figure out what to do with these Disney Vacation Club points, only because I was like, if you pass away, what goes on? So,
I think you can pass them on.
well, let me tell you,
Oh,
you can.
okay.
Here we go.
You can.
Being someone who doesn't have it, I've
Uh,
heard. Yes.
You can pass it on, but it is a racket. On the Disney front, it is a racket.
Because
So,
they
God.
technically own it, right?
right.
Own
And
your
they-
shares or whatever.
Well, so my mom has multiple Disney timeshares, and every timeshare is at a different hotel. So her base hotel is Boardwalk.
Solid choice. Solid
And
choice.
right, and then she has points in a few different other places.
Okay.
So when I wanted to put my name on it, not transfer, but just put my name on it, because just in case something happened, I would have access to it. I had to hire a lawyer that Disney had recommended,
No.
right,
Oh, God.
to then not transfer, just add my name to it. And so each one of those to transfer my name was like over $1,000. My mom has like 5 or 6 different things. So I paid like about
Gorge.
yeah, I paid so much money to just put my name on the contract, and then I had to also prove that
And
my
what
stepfather
happens if
had
you
done.
don't do that?
Well, then
It
if
just
my,
goes back to the company, or
well, if my mom had passed away, it would be gone. And now my mom,
that's
because
kind of crazy.
well, this is even the crazier thing, because my mom got into this at the very beginning. It's indefinite,
Mhm.
so she
Right.
owns it, and I can keep on passing it through.
Yep.
Oh, great.
Where my dad, again, my parents were divorced. My dad got it, but they're only for 75 years or
Yep.
something like that.
Oh,
So-
And they've
it-
like slowly been lowering it every year,
Yeah.
like when new ones come available. Now they're like 35 or something like that. Yeah.
So you said the Boardwalk Hotel.
Yeah.
Have you seen the new restaurant? There's a new restaurant that just like got built that they've been working on at the Boardwalk Hotel.
It's the patisserie or whatever.
Yeah, it's like
Okay.
it's a sit down, not like the high end nice sit down restaurant. But you were talking about the magic is gone. Everything is so expensive. They just released the menu. Paul,
it's rough.
How much would you pay? Let's just talk about.
Well, I'm gonna put my Disney price at right.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
We'll
play
more.
Yes,
we'll play prices right here. How much would you pay for a children's menu peanut butter and jelly?
Okay. So I'm going to imagine that the children's menu peanut butter and jelly is going to come with apples and a juice and something like that, right?
Yep.
I'm going to say that is going to come in at about $16.75.
You're close. It's $18.
But that's insane because at DCA right now that's $5.95.
Yeah. Well, you see, but you know what? I'm always buying this stuff for my kids. It's like I feel like those prices are. They get you. They get you. They get you. They get you.
Yeah, it was $18 across the board for the kids menu. It was peanut butter jelly, butter noodles, $18.
See, so it's funny. My original instinct was say $12.75.
Yeah,
I was like, you know what? It's in that boardwalk. I'm gonna jack it up just a little bit, and maybe I'll go over it.
Yeah,
and I was still under it.
All right, one more.
Yeah.
Off the regular menu, appetizer, charcuterie board.
Oh boy.
It doesn't say what's on it, so I don't know. It could be.
That's $30.
Corey, do you want to have a guess?
45.
$78.
What?
$78.
You see, because I was gonna say that's
that better be some serious imported cheese.
$8 for a soda.
See, but this is I don't want to badmouth Disney. I love Disney.
Sure do.
We all do.
You know.
We all do. We've come to the conclusion that you're allowed to badmouth things that you love.
Right.
You're allowed to criticize things you love.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I know that everybody listening knows you too. I just want to make sure that I don't come across like I'm complaining.
I'm a curmudgeon on this. I've
Dave's
deeply
more
become
than
like
I am about it.
why do I love these things?
Well, I guess what it is like I love it's I'm not loving the prices, right?
Right.
And I remember I was talking to a friend of mine who does a lot of work around Disney with Disney. And she said something that was really fascinating to me. She was like, the thing is, Disney realized that they are better off catering to very wealthy people than they are to middle-class families. And you can tell slowly but surely, everything has like just tilted that way.
Because if they get 1,000 people paying $50,000 a trip versus the average family paying $3,000 to $5,000 or whatever. They're catering to those add-ons, which I don't feel like it was ever as bad as it is now, as far as like the nickel and diming with add-ons.
Well, I got my class action lawsuit. I got my money Venmoed to me the other day.
Nice. What was it? Like 50?
It was like $66. Yeah.
Nice.
But what was so crazy about that was like that was the moment that really pissed me off because I was like, all right, I bought the most expensive Disney pass. I still have that thing.
Right.
Yeah.
And to have the park not be sold out, but then not be able to make a reservation to go. Like I started coming out here to California when I was a SoCal resident pass, and it was great.
Yeah.
But I don't give me the reservation system, but let me at least get in.
Yeah.
To me, the magic, the magic being gone, the price sucks. Like I acknowledge that. I've always been willing to pay a premium for Disney, but the experience has been lagging this last.
I agree.
Since COVID, for sure.
Yeah,
so much hasn't come back.
If the experience matched the price tag, I'd be fine with it. But we have empty show houses that, like, the shows are all gone, the parades are all gone. They haven't renovated things in like 30 years.
Look, I think they lost a ton of money on that Star Wars thing. I think that Star Wars, and I got very lucky. I got to go to Galaxy's Edge before it opened
Cool.
Cool.
to shoot something for StarWars.com. It was amazing to watch everybody work and watch them build it. And I really, conceptually, enjoy the idea of a rogue land that you don't know, so it doesn't feel like it's locked in anything.
Sure.
But it feels like it has all the markers or something. But for whatever reason, that really feels like a botched.
It was a swing and a miss in a very weird way.
It's impossible to keep all the characters in the same timeline. But it's also like, do we need to even follow the rules of this?
They do it in Adventures Campus.
Right.
We always say that. Like, everyone's there, living or dead, doesn't matter.
Yeah. It's
like I don't understand.
Avengers Campus and now the Marvel MCU. It's just like we'll just throw Robert Downey Jr. and everything. And
but that,
fine.
He's Dr. Doom now. It's fine.
Yeah, but I think that's the thing. It's like Disney is not an immersive park in that way. Like,
Right.
where it's like, oh, and I think originally it was like, we're going to have these missions and you're going to go over here. And I had the app and I was doing all that stuff. But you can't do it with those crowds. It's the same thing with Universal. It's like, it's too much.
Too much.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think that's why the hotel seemed interesting. Although I almost tried to get into that hotel. And the last week it was open, we were trying to get on those, like, on that cancellation thing.
Yeah.
But that's the other thing that's so crazy is, like, you have these big experiences that are impossible to get into, like Oogie Boogie Bash.
Right.
Like I was there and I was like, well, like I was the first there to kind of get in. I couldn't even get a thing. And it's like, what am I doing? Like, why is this so hard? To get access.
Their server is a disaster.
Yeah.
Beyond just the magic being gone, and like,
yes, sorry.
Do you? No. Don't apologize. This is been my take for
Dave's so happy
since
right
we
now.
started in January. Are the parks something that you now share with your own children? And is that like, how has your fandom evolved or changed at all? Like, or is it just become now you have your ride or dies with you now?
No, I really enjoy it. Like, I think it's about, like, trying to find the time for it as my kids get older. My kids are 8 and 10 now, and they are just, like, sports obsessed. They love going to sports stuff, but I'm like, one of the things I love about Disneyland being so close is they don't have to be precious about it. We could go on a couple rides and be done.
Yeah.
I feel like I have, like, missed some opportunities of just going, like, I would normally just go, like, let me run and ride that ride, or like, go back. And I haven't done that much, and I don't know what that is, but I love sharing with my kids. My wife has gotten into it.
Mm-hmm.
We just came back from Alani, which I also don't really like. But
you don't. Now women. Now we're gonna fight. You don't like Alani?
I don't like Alani because I feel like, look, it was great when I had kids of a certain age that were able to play in that kid pool.
Okay.
And and now they're older, they can swim. It, to me, is always arm to arm crowded.
Right.
And it's surrounded by, I think, 2 nicer hotels on either side. And
that
it's
are
like,
less expensive, potentially,
yes,
and are better service.
Yes, and yes. And it's like, I mean, I've gone, like, I went to the Four Seasons. I had the best tiki drink I've ever had. The Four Seasons.
If can.
Oh, I got the one in the Span.
In the
can.
Span.
Oh,
If
yeah,
can.
that's good too.
Yeah.
Alani to me is like, it has all the charm of a Disney hotel, which I think are charmless, and you don't get the benefit of the Disney.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, that's
my hot take.
Yeah.
That's a good
My hot take on the other side is that I think it's the last remaining place where the Disney magic is.
Really?
Like the
Yeah.
What do you
service
think?
is good, you mean?
I think that the cast members are so happy and so friendly and
Well, that's Hawaiian people.
Yeah,
They're
and
just
do everything that they
prideful
can.
in a
To
good
Yes,
way.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
They do everything they can to make it a magical time.
But they're like, but here's my question: what are they giving you that's not in a hotel experience? Like that, like I'm looking at it like that. I'm going, like, take away, like, if you said this is like, what stands out in that hotel that's Disney versus a other hotel?
Well, I mean, I would say that about the Polynesian, like, like,
How dare you?
I mean, like the Polynesian, like that is like a hotel, but like that you're at a Disney hotel, like.
But the benefit of a Disney hotel is that you're on property at Disney World.
Right.
You get to go to the park, and there's fireworks, and there's this, and the thing about Alani is, like, you have the hotel. But there's nothing
The
about
character
it.
meet and greets.
Right, there's
Yeah.
like characters roaming around. I had a blast with my kids at the luau.
I'm gonna tell you, if you want to go to a great luau, and well, this is a Hawaii thing, but I have like a luau that only accepts up to 50 people. It's like 10 times cheaper than
I'm sure.
than the Disney one. I went to Disney luau. I didn't love it.
Oh my god!
My kids didn't like it. They're like, let's get the hell out of here.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, I mean, I will say this: I went. And it's the only family vacation I've ever taken that's not to parents, like not to my parents.
Got it.
Like that's part of the Disney
by the way,
magic right there.
Yes,
like,
100%.
That's my like.
And you're in Hawaii, but
And I'm
that's
in
the other thing.
Hawaii.
You're in
It's
Hawaii.
beautiful. Yeah.
Yes,
And you can't beat that. And it's like,
I mean,
the
like,
beach is beautiful and everything is nice.
I'm eating the Mickey Spam Masubi.
All right.
God, like the beautiful Joe Rohde rock
It is
work
beautiful.
there.
That's gorgeous.
Like,
yeah.
and like that's the thing. To me, it might not scream Disney,
Right.
but
It's
it
immersive
screams
and,
like to
like-
me. It's I don't know if it's themed Hawaii,
Right.
Like but it's done tastefully. It's themed Hawaii, and then there's like nods also to Disney. Where like you're seeing a
Right.
little bit of Disney in like nice ways that just remind you that this is a thing that you also love, and like
Sure.
Right.
you're looking up and you see Moana walk by and you're like, hey,
I'm not against these things.
yeah.
Have you
I-
been to Tokyo?
Yes.
thoughts on
Love Tokyo. No complaints on
best
Tokyo.
One? Right.
Yeah, best park. I mean, 100%.
Sorry.
No,
yeah. I mean, they're like truly, like that was an otherworldly experience.
And it was like what you remember from being a kid, in my experience. Like the service, the friendliness of the cast members, like spotlessly clean, still very affordable.
Yes.
Once you get there, like not that bad.
And I only had one day to go, and we did both parks, and I absolutely was blown away. I can't wait to go back.
Yeah.
One of the best experiences. And I think what I appreciated about it in a way was it wasn't all built around, I mean, also selling you timeshares. I mean, I feel like, it's like, and that's like, there's a lot of that going on. And Alani, I'm like, I'm already here.
Yeah.
But like, and there's like, even the merch, like I was trying to find merch to get back. They don't even really.
Nothing says Tokyo Disneyland.
Yeah, exactly.
Literally nothing does.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing.
It's cool.
I mean, I loved it. But yes, I do love Disney. I will always upgrade my membership. I mean, I've like literally thought, should I go on StubHub and buy an Oogie Boogie Bash ticket? But I'm like, maybe not. I don't know, you know?
I don't even have FOMO this year about not going to Oogie Boogie Bash because nothing has changed. Like it's just like the same experience every single year because they just don't care.
My kids are just a little too little yet, so like maybe next year.
Yeah,
I'll be
next
like,
year.
FOMO if I don't go.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's really fun to get dressed up and go and ride the rides, and it wasn't that crowded, and it's awesome. I wish I would have done it in Disney World, not California Adventure, but I guess there's more trick-or-treating paths and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Right.
That being said, I've only gone twice, and I've loved it. And this is where I think, again, there's like issues with Disney, which is like, who are you catering to if Oogie Boogie Bash sells out the first 2 hours of the day it goes on sale? It's like, it's most people aren't like, you have to be a Disney nerd. I am one of those people. Right. I know it's going there, but like,
if you can't even get it,
they should at least release them on a time release schedule. We're gonna release for a couple days. Then give me a couple options. Let's don't get the whole thing done.
Here's what I think of when I hear the Disney adult term, and I don't think that this is you, and I don't think that this is anybody at the table, but I think it is the people that are camping out on that site to try to get in, and then only for the purpose of going to go and take the first video on the first night or the second night to try to make content to get out there because you want to be a Disney influencer. You want to buy all of the popcorn buckets to try to like resell them.
Yes.
That to me is what I think Disney adult means.
Well, you're right. Like that idea, like that you've taken the magic out of it, or you're like taking the magic away from a kid. Like one of the best things for me was having kids and sharing it with them and being there. Like I'm a Disney adult who bring my kids there, but I'm not like, get out of the way.
No.
You know,
and I say this as somebody who has a separate Disney Instagram account for myself, but it was like done in ways that like I just like wanted to annex that part of my life, just so like.
But that's fine though, because it's like people may not want to embrace all that, but there are people who do. It's like
yeah. Well, all right. Are you good for one more drink? Want to do one more drink?
Sure. Yeah. Sure.
Yeah. All right.
I feel like I went down to 2.75.
To
not
me,
my favorite.
To me, it went up. Like it was just fine. Like I just finished it, and I was like, okay, it's fine.
It was a little more of a struggle
3.
for me, like you said.
I'm at like a little bit more than half, and I'm like, I was drinking because there was it's like it's in front of me, right? Like that's
I don't know if I'd order it again.
Should we just say one more drink and then not as sweet?
Yep, I'll tell her.
Should we go sour?
I'm gonna ask her for sour.
Yeah. One drink is sour.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna get another drink, and we'll be right back. We are back. We've got another drink. Paul, I just wanted to ask you a quick question. Last week, you're being interviewed by Drew Barrymore.
Yes.
on the Drew Barrymore Shore.
And now you're here with us.
We've dragged you
These
out
two
to the
idiots.
valley.
No, come on. Any chance to get to NoHo.
That's really fun.
Yeah, but also we were talking about your book and like you're such a fanatic for movies and stuff growing up and love Blockbuster and like collecting movies and everything. Did you have an out of body experience when you're being interviewed by Drew Barrymore?
Well, it's so funny. The first line of my book is like my first chapter is like, oh, when I was a kid I was a fire starter, but not like Drew Barrymore. You know, like the kind of and I didn't realize it until I did an event right before I had to go on Drew Barrymore, and I was like, oh my gosh, she's right in there. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. She's so nice, and I've done I just had done Hollywood Squares with her a couple weeks before that.
Nice.
Yeah, I think it's always interesting to meet people that you look up to. There's certain people I don't want to meet, you know.
Sure.
But I will say with her it was a little bit different because she is like a contemporary, like we're about the same age.
Right.
So there's a difference there that I wouldn't have for somebody like Bill Murray or like Steve Martin or, you know, like somebody like that. You know, it's like I'm more daunted by the older. It's like, oh, but there's like
different generation.
Yeah, there's an equalizer and going like, yes, she was a famous child actress and she's become an amazing like mogul across the board. But for whatever reason, I wasn't as intimidated.
She just seems very like warm and welcoming and like,
approachable for sure. But I always have these like moments where if I could tell my teenage self or like all these decisions that you've made have somehow led up to this for better or worse.
Yeah.
Like you're being interviewed by.
Oh, no. I mean, I did have that thought. It's a wild thing. It's, you know, you get into these moments where you're just working with people like, you know, I have a relaxed and casual relationship with Jane Fonda, which is amazing. You know, she blurbed my book.
Right.
You know, and I love Jane and she's awesome. And, you know, I was daunted to meet her and she's,
I'd be intimidated. Sure.
And I remember I was over her house one night and I was standing in her little bar area. And not tiki themed, but
strike one.
And
Jane.
And I was getting a drink, and you know, and this woman walks up to me and she goes, "Oh, hi, I'm Sally. It's Sally Field."
Oh,
you know,
my
I
God.
went to like some birthday dinner, and it was the most star-studded amount of people that are all like super lovely, but I'm like also I want to make a fool of myself, right?
Sure.
You know, and I know that, and I write about this in my book. Like I don't want to. It's a hard thing to like talk to people that you really like. You know, there's people I won't, and I choose not to do it anymore because if I don't have anything to speak about, I can't just go in and be like, oh my gosh, I'm a huge fan. There's nowhere to go.
Yeah.
Right. So you have
where's
to
that going? Yeah.
Yeah, you need to find some connection, some
common ground or something to speak to them.
Yeah. So if I can't find it, I just don't do it.
Right. Okay. We're drinking the Gold Cup. It's a little coupe glass. It's yellow. It's
straight up.
It's just straight up, no ice, no. It's a daiquiri.
Feels like a daiquiri, right?
I want to cheers to fire starters then.
There we go.
Here we go. All right, here we go.
Oh dear. Okay, that's different. I honestly don't know what this flavor is.
I don't mind this flavor.
I don't mind it, but it's way different than I thought it was going to be honest.
So our bartender kind of had a twinkle in her eye, like, I'm going to throw you a curveball on this one.
No, this feels to me like
because it starts off bitter and sour, but then it ends weirdly smooth.
Yeah, it tastes like almost like pineapple and anise or something like that.
Like,
yeah.
But I actually think that might actually be what would happen because like the citrus is killing that licorice flavor, but the licorice flavor is like giving it a nice smoothness.
Yeah, it like blends in nicely.
Yeah.
Actually, it's quite balanced.
I like this one.
Sense.
Yeah, this was supposed to be I'm gonna fuck with you drink a little bit.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm at a 4.5.
Oh,
wow. Right off the bat.
Because I like it more than I like this.
I definitely like it more than the first one.
And
I'd say I'm about 4 so
far. Yeah, I'm a 3.75. Let me tell you what's in it. Gold Cup. It's got lime juice, sugar syrup, maraschino liqueur, Pernod, and almond extract.
Pernod is what I think I'm tasting.
Yeah, that tastes like Guinness.
And gold Jamaican rum.
This has all the flavors I like, and I'm happy with this.
Me too.
Drink.
This is from the Captain's Inn in Long Beach, circa 1962.
What's dude's face look like on this one?
The guy's face, judging on how drunk you're gonna get, it's fine. He's okay.
He looks happy.
He looks okay.
No, this is a civilized drink. It feels
civilized cocktail.
Yes, it does not feel like the way like an original daiquiri tastes.
Yeah,
like
this
nice.
is totally fine. I thought I was gonna hate this. And
it's quite good.
I don't like Pernod. I don't like
the Pernod is quite hidden.
But I'm gonna have to drink them, so I don't avoid them. But like this one is actually pretty fine. Like Drew Barrymore, we also have 5 questions that we normally
Oh wow,
have.
I love it. All right,
that
great.
we call them my 5.
Yeah, we call it ours of my 5.
But sometimes 6.
It's sometimes 6, and we're gonna we will do the 6th question just
and
because
Brittany's gonna be so mad at me for doing it, but we're gonna do
I feel like you will have an interesting take on this one.
All right, so first one. Favorite theme park.
Well, I know we talked about it, but I'm gonna say Tokyo Disney, and actually not even Disney. I forget the name of it. The other, it's like
Disney Sea.
Disney Sea.
Yeah, it's remarkable.
Yeah,
agreed.
Did you have a favorite ride at Disney Sea?
You know, it's interesting because I think about Disney Sea as like an all-encompassing. Like I think I remember the landscaping of the land more than I remember the rides. I mean, there's a Journey to the Center of the Earth, which is a great ride.
Yeah.
There is a Great Nemo ride that's like really fun for being like a theater ride too. But man, I'm forgetting some of the. Is there anything that I'm missing from there? Like I know that there's tons, but I don't know.
Voyage of Sinbad is good. It's like that.
Oh yeah,
slow
Sinbad's
moving
fun. Yes,
boat
Sinbad's
ride.
fun. Yeah. Did you ask me my favorite ride ever, or just that my favorite ride?
Just your favorite ride there, but I'll take your favorite ride ever. As
Well, I think my favorite ride ever is. Look, there are these classics, obviously, like Pirates and Haunted Mansion, but the one that I would go to, I love Disneyland more than I like Disney World, and that's a switch as I gotten older because I think Disneyland retains a lot of the uniqueness that Disney World has lost. Mr. Toad's is been
number one.
Yeah, that's the one I feel like is the most really unique and fun in the sense that like it's bizarre, it's weird, it's mixed media, it's scary, it's funny. As a kid, I had no reference for Mr. Toad and Wind of the Willows, even though I was a big Disney person. And that one just felt like fun. And it felt like, I think as I've gotten older, it's fun to watch my kids and what they get scared by and what they like. And that's a great like middle of the road scare ride because like, oh, you get run over by a train. Oh, you go to hell. You're running around.
That freaked me out so much as a kid. That train coming at you. I remember ducking.
Good effect.
And like hitting the deck. Like, have you ever been drunk at a theme park?
Had a silly experience.
Yeah, no, I normally take my theme parking sober.
Fair.
I'm sure the answer is yes. But I don't really remember. See, like for me, it's also like I do have a respect for the space.
Yeah,
like, I don't want to be kicked out. I don't want to be kicked out. Yeah. No. The worst I ever did was when I was a kid. My grandfather worked for a bank. Okay. He was a vice president of the bank, and the president of the bank was incredibly wealthy guy. And this is a very outlier story in my life. And because you all are listening who are meeting me maybe for the first time, I want to just put the caveat here. This is not the life I led, but this is a story from my life. That's not in my book. My grandfather was a vice president of a bank. His boss was the president, obviously.
Right.
And we took his yacht down to Orlando.
Oh,
and
wow.
his yacht was like a yacht. Maybe it was like a 6-bedroom yacht with a staff. They had movie nights,
cool.
And there's Sea-Doos that you could pop off in the back. And we went from New York to Orlando. And his sons were very, they know how to play piano. They knew how to dance. They knew how to sing. They were, very richy people. But when we went to Disney World, they were like insane. And I remember that when we were on a ride, actually Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, they were reaching out of the ride and grabbing onto the wooden figures' heads and stuff like that.
That's a deal breaker for me.
Right, I remember that the ride stopped.
I lose respect for people when they do stuff like that. Yep.
Yeah, the ride stopped, and they were like, "Please stop what you're doing." And I got so nervous, and we never got reprimanded, but that was enough to keep me on the straight and narrow.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite Halloween costume or go-to Halloween costume since we're coming up on that season?
Well, I'm right now building a Boba Fett costume for my son.
Oh, cool.
Which is really fun. As a kid, my mom really took my costumes seriously, but at the same time made them a little bit complex. There was a TV show called Greatest American Hero. This actor, William Catt, a blonde guy. And the premise of it was like, it's like Superman, but he had like an FBI trainer. Like, it was like he was kind of like a shitty superhero, but it was like a funny show, but it was also a superhero show. And I really loved Greatest American Hero. I wanted to be that. And my mom didn't know how to get my hair blonde.
Oh no!
So she gave me like a clown wig, like a yellow clown wig.
Oh God!
And I remember my grandma saw that and she was like, "What the hell are you wearing? No, you're not wearing any of this." And she ripped the wig off and she made me get out of my like Greatest American Hero like red costume and put on an army jacket. And get a fake gun and run around with that.
No.
So I always remember that.
Did your mom make your costumes multiple years, or was that just a one and done
type
of thing?
No, she made them multiple years. But it was like, look, it's hard. As I'm making this costume for my son for Boba Fett, he was like, it's hard to make a Boba. Like cosplaying is a thing.
Yeah.
They don't make those costumes for kids. You make like a pajama that you put on. And so like what I've been trying to do is like make his costume almost 3-dimensional. So he's wearing that Boba Fett costume as a base layer, then I'm putting on other things, so it's like it's kind of like just trying to dress it a little bit more because it's really hard to especially for kids to dress up like what they want to dress up
Yeah.
like, and it's for one night.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, I'm gonna spend all this money on this, but
Yeah.
My son wants to be Duff Man.
Oh, that's amazing.
And like finding a Duff Man costume for a 7-year-old
That's appropriate
kid,
for a
it's
7-year-old.
like very difficult. And I'm like, well, maybe should I just try
Etsy.
to like I gotta
Etsy
try to
has
make
everything.
this.
That's true.
This is a little bit slightly problematic. Anytime I think about making my son's costume and trying to fashion it myself, I'm immediately transported back to when I was in 3rd grade. I wanted to be a Native American because we had yeah. I mean, there's pictures out there of me. I lived in North Carolina, and we went to like one of these towns that had Native American. So I bought like actual stuff there and whatever, and like I just didn't have any pants. And my mom was like, "I'll make the pants." My mother, bless her heart, who has never made a pair of pants in her life, like went out and just bought like suede,
right,
and like had me lay down on like a block of suede and like cut around it. And then she's like, "Well, how am I gonna make the front connect to the back?" So just used staples.
Oh my God.
From a stapler. So like my school had like a Halloween parade, and we went all walking around, and like it ended in the gym, and we all sang our Halloween song, and you could just see me sitting in like a sea of staples on the ground.
No.
That just like had been, and like teachers were like, we have video of teachers just like picking up staples like behind me. But like God. So like anytime I think about making my son's costume, I'm like,
oh
man,
yeah.
Question 4: is there anything like that maybe we don't know that you geek out about? Famously talking on so many podcasts about everything that you like.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty open about my. The one thing I really am into is photography, and I love cameras, and I love taking pictures, and I love like kind of learning that stuff. So that's like where I guess if I was to have like a hobby, that would be that would be my hobby. And I also, as I've gotten older, I'm a kid who's never played sports. I was never athletic. And as I've gotten older, I've gotten more athletic, or I've at least tried sports. So now I play tennis multiple times a week, and pickleball, and so and even golf. Like, so I've like picked up sports past 40, which is like crazy, and I really love it. I'm like, oh, this is amazing. I can't believe I never did this.
That's great.
All right, question 5. If you had to go to any restaurant and order one of everything off the menu and eat everything off the menu, what would that be?
Okay, well, my easiest answer would be a sushi place. I love sushi, and I will go to town, and I try to kind of order in that way, like this omakase, like whatever you're gonna make me. There's a guy I used to love. His name was Saito. He moved back to Japan, but he had a small little spot in Los Feliz, and people were intimidated to go in there. And I never knew what I was getting, and it was amazing.
Right.
So like that's something I would do. But if we're like talking about more of a what could I handle, I would say I'm a really good eater.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I'm trying to think of like major chains and stuff like that. This is it's a good question to be like.
It's a thinker.
Yeah, because it's like my first instinct is like, well, maybe like a burger. I like Burger King. I like Taco Bell.
Okay.
Right. I might err on the side of that, because like a place like whether it's like Chick-fil-A or McDonald's or all these like places, like it's like, well, it's multiple. It's like, here's 5 ways to do a chicken sandwich. Here's 5 ways to do a burger, and that doesn't seem exciting to me. Whereas like Taco Bell is like, well, that's we got some
variance.
options. There's
a shocking amount of people have all said
Said
Taco Bell. Taco Bell
It's a popular one.
It's really funny because people were always like, hey, it could be 5-star restaurant, like any place that you, and everybody chains. Like, well, because Arby's, Taco Bell.
Well, because I think it's like, well, it's a comfort. It's also like there's something about like a 5-star restaurant often isn't like it's like, well, what is that? Like, what is on that menu? Like, I don't know. Like, there's certain like, I don't know. Like, the best meal I've ever had in my life. I'm trying to think about that too. Like, the best meal I ever had in my life, I think, was a sushi place that I went to one time. That was like that was really like,
what was that?
It was a place in Beverly Hills, and I only went because Aziz Ansari, when we were on Human Giant, they were going to take him out because he had signed some big deal, but he couldn't do it because he was shooting something, and they're like, hey, we're going to take Aziz out. Do you want to just go out instead, because we can't? We already made the reservation. We can't cancel it. And I was like, fuck yeah,
sure do. Yeah,
and it blew my mind, and that was like a meal that I came home. And there's also The other meal that I had that was amazing was in Vegas. It was an Italian restaurant. Who was the guy? I think he may have been canceled by now. The guy who used to always wear like Crocs and
Mario Batali.
There was a
Definitely
Batali.
canceled now?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
100%.
Oh, he's
Yeah.
not a good guy?
Not a good guy.
I missed
yeah.
that. Okay.
But there was a restaurant that he had in Vegas where we were the group of 5 people, and the server said to us, we were like, what would you recommend? She's like, what I would recommend is this. Let me handle it.
Yeah, I love that.
And I was like, that's all I want. I want all restaurants to be like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so what she did was she gave us everything on the menu, and we all were supposed to take one bite of everything.
Oh.
And that was, and so you take one bite, you pass it, one bite, you pass
That's
it.
kind of a fun
I love that.
experience.
So
yeah.
much fun. And that was really like,
That's cool.
yeah, that was really fun.
I love that. All right, 6th question, final question, the bonus. But we're only asking this because
Taco Bell.
We feel safe.
We feel safe, and you said that you went to Star Wars Galaxy's Edge before it opened.
Yeah.
I feel like you're a Star Wars guy.
Yeah.
What do you think Jabba's dick looks like?
Well, this is interesting, right? Because I appreciate this question. Like, what does a snake stick look like? We don't know. There's no dick, right? I think the Jabba the Hutt is laying eggs.
That's the best answer we've gotten.
Yeah.
And where do you envision it is?
I just imagine he's laying eggs like off, the same thing with snakes. Like where are they laying?
coming out
Yeah,
of?
where are they coming out of?
That's a good point.
So I feel like I don't think he has like a
Genitals, external genitals.
Yeah, I think it's like a fish or something like that. Like, yeah, I feel that he is making eggs.
That's the best answer we've gotten.
Like, I think there are certain animals that don't even need anything to be impregnated.
To fertilize,
yeah.
Okay, got it.
So
he might be able to self-procreate.
Yeah.
All right.
Interesting. All right, good point. Good
Okay.
point.
All right.
Well, there we have
So
it.
that's a good point.
If you don't wear pants, you don't have a dick.
Yeah. All right. Well, we've all finished our drinks. What do you think?
That was a solid 4 to me. Yeah.
I actually wound up really liking this.
Yeah.
I'll give it a 4 1/4.
I like it because this is a drink that I felt like it was really nice to sip. It had like the lightness of I like a summer cocktail, like an Aperol spritz. I like a thing like that.
I
And
love
felt
an
like,
Aperol spritz.
yeah, and that felt like to me like a very nice, refreshing tiki drink.
Well, all right. Well, we won't keep you any longer. But
Is there anything you want
Yeah,
to
thank you so
plug,
much,
or-
Paul.
No,
Scheer.
I appreciate you having me on, and I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to try these 2 drinks. I hope we put a little dent into your.
Put a little
We're getting
dent.
there.
We're getting there.
We're now over 69%.
All right, that's pretty exciting. And my book, Joyful Recollections of Trauma, is available wherever you get your books. If you want a personalized book, if you want me to write something about Disney in it, you can go to Chevalier's bookstore here in Los Angeles. So you just do it online, and they will charge you the exact same amount it is to buy the book as it is for me to personalize it. It just takes a little bit longer because
That's cool.
I got to drag my ass over there and sign it.
I will also say, read the book, but also listen to the audiobook.
Look, get on Kindle, get the audiobook.
I listened to the audiobook.
No.
I listened to the audiobook, but I loved hearing it.
Through your voice.
Through your
That's
voice.
why I got
No, the
that,
audiobook, I'm a huge audiobook fan, so I wanted to make the audiobook something that was fun and that I love that form. So it was like, and the audiobook has some special things that are unique to it. The hardcover has some things that are unique to it. And the Kindle has nothing unique to it, unfortunately, because the thing I wanted to do unique to it, they wouldn't let me do. So, but yeah, take a listen. It's great, and any which way you want to get it.
I will say I've worked with you now for like a decade, but like after listening to your book, like I was like, God, I there's so much I didn't know.
It's so well. My wife felt the same way, so don't feel badly. And I will say that also, it's like, and I realized after I wrote that, I'm like, oh, I didn't even talk about half the other things. So, we'll
Maybe
see.
there'll
It
be
was
a
great.
volume
It's
two.
truly great. Truly great, and one of the only books I've read.
They get on it.
Yeah. Anyway, all right. We're gonna go out and we're gonna settle up, and then we'll be back to wrap it all up.
Yep.
So, all right.
Thank you,
Thanks so
Paul.
much
Thank
for
you.
joining us. I really appreciate it. All right, that's our show this week. Thanks again to Paul Scheer. I mean, so fucking great of
So
him
lovely.
to come out and join us for a drink at
This silly little thing we're doing.
fucking a Tuesday afternoon. Come out for a drink too. So thanks again to Paul. Now that he's not even here, I stand true that I really loved his book. So
You told me to download it, and I did on Audible. And it's very commanding, maybe is the right word. Like, it just, you want to keep listening to it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Let us know what you thought about today's episode. Hit us up on Instagram. It's at MyTimeThePodcast. Or if you have any questions about Tiki or theme parks or haunts, spooky season.
We're haunt people.
Look, I remember it's October. We are my grime, but
we're still there. But we had a guest today.
We had a guest, and a guest that I would have been very, very embarrassed to say my grime.
This is grave and gory.
Yeah, I couldn't. I just couldn't do it.
Couldn't do it.
So anyway, call us at 559-WE-DRUNK, and I'll do it for you.
Yeah, we'll do it. Private.
I'll privately record you something. If you call, yeah. How about that? If you call,
we'll send you a private message back.
Yeah.
That sounds dirty.
Yeah.
We don't mean it like that.
I'll do that if that's what you want.
Or you can always email us at mytimethepodcast@gmail.com. And please, if you're enjoying our show, take your time to do a 5-star review on Apple iTunes or Spotify or wherever you're listening. It really means a lot to us.
It does. Thank you. All right. So for next time, I'm Grave or Dave. And
I'm Gory /Corey.
That's
Mahalo.
Bye.